Hello, thanks for joining us. This is a chat I had with Alec of Neuron and Beannachd Liebh. His projects, we talk about Dawnwalker and his stuff and our shared influences, a lot of video game chat. It was fun, good conversation, so check it out, hope you enjoy. So, last year you put out the record with Neuron.
Yes.
Super sick record. Seems to cause a bit of a stir in the metal blog sphere.
Kind of. I don't know. It's I don't know if you if you experienced this too. It just kind of seemed to have a lot of momentum all of a sudden, and then everyone moves on to the next thing. So I was kind of like, oh, this is really hitting for some people, and then it's just kind of didn't appear on any lists or anything. Not that that's what we were doing it for necessarily, but
they move fast.
Its shelf life was it might have some gas left because it was in December of last year, but
okay.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool that like Decibel streamed it. That was very
unexpected. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, shout out to Logan, who's the other band member. He usually is a lot better at making stuff like that happen. So
it's just the two of you, right?
Just the two of us now. Yeah, it used to be a three guy thing, but we had a drummer, and then he moved to the east coast of Canada, so we're all really good friends. But
fucking drummers, dude. Always the drummer.
Always the drummer. Totally.
It's an awesome record, man. It's fucking crazy. All your stuff is crazy.
Thank you. That's by design. Yeah, thank you very much.
And so this year you put out your solo thing, which I'm going to attempt to pronounce, which I think is Beannachd Liebh.
That's close, and I'm a poser because I don't speak Gaelic, but it's, to the best of my knowledge, you're close. It's Beannachd Liebh, so that the H is more of a V sound for them.
That makes sense, actually. That H is not there for no reason. It's
yeah, it's a mysterious H.
And I've been listening to it a lot. And this is a purely solo effort, right?
Purely solo, and it's funny because it started out, I was like, I want to do this as like a band now. I want people on this, and I'm going to reach out to musicians I think are cool and get them involved. And as I got deeper into it, I was kind of like, I don't have money for that. We're in a similar business, and I don't know if it was the same over there, but there was definitely a big dry spell around the time I was putting this together for my kind of work, which is post-production, edit, VFX and stuff. So that just kind of dried up for a good 6 months, and I was like, I think I gotta just unfortunately do this on my own, and I just kind of committed to it.
Yeah, the situation was pretty fucked over here as well. I think all the stuff that was going on over there with the strikes and stuff had a knock-on over here, as well as a bunch of other shit as well. But the record is like, how are people even going to play that? It's so
yeah, how am I going to play that?
It's like shift genre by like the second.
Yeah, it's a tall ask. That's why I'm kind of like I'm not to get too far ahead, but I am now writing very much like stuff that can be played start to finish by a single musician. And there's a lot less keyboard because there's like 80 layers of keyboards sometimes, and like no one can realistically do that in a live setting or in any setting. So yeah, I think it's gonna probably sound more stripped down, but more playable next time. Hopefully.
Yeah, there's always those moments where you're like, why did I write it like this? When you when you actually have to play it live in front of people.
You're like, this is nonsense. Like my finger doesn't even go there. Yeah.
I mean, your stuff is fucking nuts. But like, but there's also like some slow jam, some moody, sort of synthy, soundscapey stuff. Like, is the track Born Grey? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That's super vibey.
That's like the oldest. That's like predates anything. Like that's from 10 years ago. Was that kind of main melody. Like I had that as a demo for the longest time, and it's like that's pretty good. I shouldn't just leave that on the shelf. I should dust that off. Get that in there.
Yeah, it's a good tune. That it's funny actually. It's like definitely seen a bit of a trend with people wanting to self-produce and do things more themselves over the last few years. Like the way that things are now and everything costs so much, and like putting out records and printing vinyl got so expensive. It's like,
Yeah.
definitely like it's something I want to do more of as well. And I'm never really that happy with it when I self-produce stuff, but it's kind of like the point of it in a way, isn't it? It's to do something that's sort of homemade and imperfect, and it's got like rough edges and stuff. So
You're saved by the genre, because if anyone has tolerance for that, it's like that kind of black metal thing, and that's, I feel weird even calling it black metal because I don't really think that it is. But if I can call it that, it kind of distracts from the like, yeah, it sounds kind of like he doesn't know what the hell he's doing from a production standpoint, but that's black metal. That's par for the course, you know. So, bit of a safety net.
it's hard to describe, actually. There's definitely elements of black metal in there, but there's so much synth and stuff. It's like, you know, I hear bits of Kayo Dot and like probably a bunch of techie death bands that I would never have heard of.
For sure. Like, I get, yeah, like Kayo Dot is kind of black metal sometimes, but yeah, it'd be weird to call them like a black metal band fundamentally.
But I always found it strange. I think they called Gamma Knife their black metal record.
Yeah.
Like, there's a few bits of sort of blast beats. But
yeah, it's like more of like a. I was always like, this sounds like technical death metal sometimes, like that. The third track, is it Mirror Water, is kind of like, is that the Mirror Water? Anyway, it's it's got like all these kind of shifting meters and stuff. I'm like, this sounds more like Dillinger Escape Plan.
it's, you know, again, because that's sort of like self-recorded and stuff. It's just like sometimes you're just like, what is going on?
Yeah, that one's kind of like a game almost to, like try and figure out the note. You know, like I think that's the note. I think that's the pitch. And if that's the pitch, and then you start to imagine it the next time you listen to it because you have that knowledge. But
Yeah.
it takes a lot of digging to be like, I think that's the melody. I think that's the note there. Yeah.
Whereas also we've talked about Plastic House. It's
Yeah.
like, I think that album for me would like, I'd really benefit from like having the stems in front of me and be able to just like pull up different parts at different times, because there's just so much going on at any one time. Like my ear doesn't know where to focus.
Dude, for real. Like Rings of Earth, the second half of that song, and I'm not saying this like in a pejorative way, but I still don't know what's going on. And it's not. I love that I don't know what's going on. It's a feature, not a flaw. But the like I can't properly even remember the kind of the structure of it, because it's so like hidden almost, right? Like in the way it's so layered. There's like a zillion different competing layers to that. Yeah.
There's just so much going on that record. Like, I mean, not that I'd call it particularly like technical or anything like that, but I mean, when I was younger, I used to enjoy more complexity for complexity's sake. And nowadays I'm old and I like things nice and simple because my brain can't keep up.
What's my foothold here to kind of observe all of this, right? I can sense that. I like that feeling of being overwhelmed and being alienated. It's a whole other discussion, but I think that's why the kind of the over the top technical stuff I lean to a lot, because when I start kind of bobbing my head and I'm getting into a groove, I want to get out of that. I want to like have a huge shift, kind of be like, I want to be wrong all of a sudden.
Well, that's exactly what your stuff is like, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
it's like hits a groove for like 40 seconds. It's like, oh, now it's prog again.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Get out of the pocket. We're not allowed there.
Don't get comfortable.
Exactly.
What did you make of the new Kayo Dot record?
Oh man. It's like competing. It's like aggressively their best ever, but in a way, like in a bullying way, in a way where they're kind of like, get the fuck out of here, Hubardo. Get out of my way. Like in this kind of mean-spirited, like non-collegial, I'm the best Kayo Dot album. Like, Whereas before I would say it's like obviously Choirs or Hubardo. One of those two is top. I think like Choirs will always be first in my heart, obviously. But yeah, it's an incredible achievement. Not to be too hyperbolic, but
yeah, I mean, it's, you know, how many albums in are they now? Is this 10, 12?
10 or 11 or something like that, yeah.
It's like, it's a huge highlight for me, and it's so fucking weird. Every time I listen to it, I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
I really liked the last couple as well. Like Moss Grew, I thought was incredible. It's like, that's another highlight of theirs for me.
Moss Grew feels almost like a necessary companion to this, because when you're feeling that like lack of anything to, you know, that complete disorientation, you think about like what an earworm all the songs on the last one were, and how they were so like, man, these are all such like good jams, good riffs, really like goes down smooth on any listen. Like it's awesome. So you're kind of like, whenever you're feeling like, oh my god, I'm feeling so alienated here in this new record, you know that you can go back to that if you need to.
We talked about this as well, like how they sort of wrong-footed everyone by saying it was going to be Choirs of the Eye sort of companion, but then also he sort of spilled the beans that it initially started out as more of a metal record, and he sort of canned that idea and turned it into something else.
I have a thought about that. I think I said it to you in passing over chat, but I think Toby has gone on the record and saying like he describes like all the records as they're all on the same world map, but they're different continents. So it's all like cohabitating, but it's like a totally different landmass. So like, you know, maybe a long time ago we took off from the shores of the Choirs of the Eye island, and you know, we've been on to different worlds. And this, it doesn't sound like Choirs, but it definitely feels like they're coming back to that landmass, but it's been not taken care of and blasted, and it's this like doomed hellscape almost. But it's the same place, but it's been totally bombed, you know. That's kind of like how it felt to me. And I actually got very whether or not that's true or that was the intention, it's like started like getting to me, because I've been listening to that record since I was more or less a teenager, and like 19, that's still a teenager, and so yeah, like that felt like my whole younger life has been blasted away. Are you kidding me? Like the most definitive album of my young adulthood is now just this nuclear fallout. You know, it was very affecting. I'd be curious if that was what he was going for or not.
How have you been getting on with Silksong? It's been 7 or something years in the making and waiting.
Silksong, yeah, and then we should talk about some Dawnwalker. But yeah, Silksong. Man, again, I'm being very hyperbolic today, so I apologize. But if it wasn't for Elden Ring, that's why I'm distinguishing as I feel like it's the best 2D game I've ever played at this point. And I know I'm in like a honeymoon stage with it, but when I started to see what was on offer, it felt like, you know, everything I'd ever wanted. It felt like everything I wanted in a video game was being given to me. So I don't have a good inkling of how far in I am. I feel like I might be approaching the end of Act 1, maybe. I've been avoiding spoilers, but my general feel is I might be getting there. But
I've barely scratched the surface of the game yet. I don't think I'm as deep into it as you are, but it's slowly sucking me in. But weirdly, the first game, Hollow Knight, was like that as well. It's sort of like I started playing it and I was like, yeah, it's just another Metroidvania or whatever. I'll keep my fingers busy for a few hours, and then suddenly I was like 40 hours in, and I was just like, no, I must get more Geo to get this particular. I remember my partner at the time, she was like, I've never seen you get sucked into a game like this.
yeah. It for me, like my favorite video game growing up was Super Metroid. So it was kind of like, oh, this is like Super Metroid for a big grown-up boy, and similar thing where I think it was the first hard game I had played since I was young. I think I was kind of out, moved away from when the arcades started going. Because I grew up in a place called Markham, which is near Toronto. And if you know Markham, it's got a pretty big arcade culture, definitely in the 90s. And yeah, as I got older, I kind of moved away from that more like hardcore arcade thing. But yeah, Hollow Knight, I was like, oh yeah, shit, games are hard. I forgot. I'm liking. I missed this kind of stuff,
Yeah, it's refreshing actually. I'm a late comer to Dark Souls and Elden Ring and stuff like that. I mean, I dabbled a bit with Dark Souls nearer the time that it came out, and just for whatever reason didn't get into it. But there was an era around like the PS3 era where it just felt like games had become sort of these big spectacle event things that just sort of played themselves, and I found it was just like it was such a turn off for me. It's like I'm barely doing it, and my guy is like flying through the air and like karate kicking people and stuff, and I haven't pressed a button in like 5 minutes,
I didn't earn that.
So this sort of super brutal, just like, oh fuck you, you made that mistake, so now you got to do it again.
And this there's a guy on YouTube. He's really good. He's a real arcade nerd, kind of stick in the mud, in a good way, and often hard to please. But he's a good way. It's called the Electric Underground, and he talks about kind of the good old days. But he was discussing Demon Souls specifically, and he said that game really exemplifies stoicism in game design, and that I think the misconception is that the Souls games, and by extension Hollow Knight, is trying to kind of punk you. It's trying to troll you, and he's saying it's more that it just has this baseline of ambivalence. It doesn't really care whether you succeed or not. It's for you to succeed in that space.
I grew up playing Nintendo games, and like those games definitely want you to win. Like they don't want you to struggle for too long. Whereas, I mean, Demon Souls is, I know it had like a troubled development and stuff, but that is a fucking evil game.
World 4 for sure. The whole swamp is like that's trolling for sure.
It's got one of my favorite moments in all those games where you get to the end of that fucking horrendous slog, or through all the poison swamp, and you get to the final boss, and there's just this little lady sat there, and she's like, "Oh my god, oh kill me then, you brute!" And she just dies in one hit. It's so good.
The main Estrella fight, I think that's when everyone started to clue in to like Miyazaki was a real one. Like he's a guy to watch, because there was something very powerful about that. I'm not even going by lore or anything. Just this image of this like Madonna type character, like in the middle of this, at the epicenter of this disgusting place, was like a really simple image, but a really powerful one. And you're playing the killing of her as well, which is, I think everyone was kind of like, oh, we're in the presence of an artist here with this.
There's so many moments like those through those games as well. It's just like,
oh yeah,
this like you meet these sort of would-be heroes on the road kind of thing, and they're setting off with these great ambitions, and then you just find them dead in a ditch like an hour later, and you just take their shit.
Like the white face Vare and Elden Ring, he's just like, go die in a ditch somewhere.
Would you say that video games influence you musically?
Yes, definitely. Because I grew up with Final Fantasy, and I loved Final Fantasy. And as you get older, you realize 70% of Final Fantasy music is progressive rock.
Yeah.
And it normalizes it, because I think for most people, progressive rock is, unless you're like a diehard fan, it's this kind of curiosity or kind of little quirk of that time period. They're fans of Led Zeppelin, and they're like, Led Zeppelin might have had a proggy part here and there, but if you look across the field and you see like Yes and King Crimson, they're like, oh, those silly weird bands. But Final Fantasy music is like straight up prog rock. It's got shifting meters.
For sure.
Like even the instruments, like there's, because I loved Final Fantasy 9, and that was like mellotrons and organ, and I was just like, oh, this is like what this must be sophisticated because Final Fantasy is sophisticated, grown-up video game. It it has numbers and statistics in it, so it must be for very intelligent people. So this music therefore must also be. So I was kind of like, yeah. So yes, to answer your question, I think video games lend themselves to are like pretty technical, right? Like they have very technical, elaborate motifs and like a lot of interesting harmony, because I think they need to get the most out of their sound chips. So yeah, so definitely would have, even if I don't like consciously realize it, I think that set an expectation for what I like, because I would be just hearing that all the time, right?
Yeah, I mean the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack is obviously like just a fucking juggernaut. It's like I try and replay that game every couple of years, and every time I do, you just notice some new track. Obviously, there's the great big ones, everyone, but like you just be walking through a patch of forest and there's some like quiet acoustic guitar sort of melody, and you're just like, damn.
Yeah.
It's like it's hard to play that game without getting like some sort of like musical inspiration out of it.
100%. And it's like moving. Like specifically the Seven soundtrack is emotional. Like the world map theme like kind of makes your heart soar. Like the main like oh man, it's just so so good.
Yeah, I mean when I first played that game, I knew nothing about it apart from my friends kept telling me to play it, and I, like most people, I thought that Midgar at the beginning was the game, and then when you get onto the world map, you're like, it's like, what?
Yeah.
There's a whole world.
An unrepeatable experience for sure. Like it's just never got better than that. It's so good.
What have you been listening to from this year, aside from Kayo Dot, obviously?
Well, I know you're not a big fan, but the new Between the Beard and Me record came out yesterday. And it's you'll hate it, I think, and that's as you should. It's very obnoxious. But there's something about it. There's a certain X factor to them that I have always enjoyed. And to be perfectly fair, I don't know if I would it's not a guarantee I would be into Kayo Dot if I wasn't initially into Between the Beard and Me, for a lot of reasons.
No, I honestly don't know the first fucking thing about them. I sort of sense that it's probably not my bag. I've sort of like I hear them mentioned a lot. They're well thought of by friends and peers and stuff, so I'm sure that I've stuck it on now and then, but I don't really know what it is. Is it gent?
It's not. You know what? They have thankfully resisted the temptation to gent. So I think what initially they were was like tech metal, like Dillinger Escape Plan adjacent stuff.
Okay.
That was kind of the vibe, and I think the first 3 records were that, and then as they got exposure, and I think they're genuinely skilled, virtuosic players, respectively. I think they're just like, yeah, so let's keep pushing the envelope, and now you just have very flashy, very elaborate, progressive metal, but it still maintains a kind of a core, a metal core, kind of like an old school, heavy Victory Band type thing. Like from that time, so they've kind of kept it real, even though they've really, have like pushed it. But yes, and so this is more of that. But they're guilty of prog crimes for sure. So
if I was to check out one record, which would it be?
I think I'll tell you their best record, in my opinion, is called The Parallax 2. That came out in 2012. You wouldn't be wrong going with that EP, which is the Parallax 1 and the Parallax 2. I think that EP and the whole Parallax thing is the sort of high watermark for them.
Okay.
I think a lot of people would agree with that. What are you spinning?
Yeah, there's a couple of weird ones I was looking forward to that didn't end up. Like the new Mars Volta, I used to be a huge Mars Volta fan. Mm-hmm. New record was kind of cool, but didn't really... It's in a way, it's like a song that's a whole record, which I have a a penchant for, but
Yeah.
it just for whatever reason it just don't know didn't stick with me that one. The new Dirty Projectors is great.
Oh yeah.
He he specifically said that it's not a prog opera about climate change, and it literally is exactly that.
Whenever someone goes out of the way to say something it's not, you should be paying close attention to the opposite.
Just like, oh no, everyone's going to call this a climate change prog opera. I better do something about that. But it's literally exactly what it is.
Yeah.
There's this band called Ancient Hostility. They used to be in one of them used to be in a black metal band called Dawnwalker. I don't know if you.
Yeah, I know Dawnwalker. Yeah,
Oh, awesome.
Do you know them? Do you know them through your playing in your channels or?
Kind of, they're like we have like mutual friends, like.
Gotcha.
But the singer from that band has a folk ballads project where it's just all vocals, and they're like
Cool.
it's almost like sea shanties, but they're kind of like punk folk ballads. It's fucking awesome.
I would be in the demographic for that for sure.
They're called Ancient Hostility. I would highly recommend that. But
sick name. Yeah, already off to a good start.
I expected like because they're very like lefty sort of anarchist politics, but
yeah,
and so you expect there are very political songs on it, but there's just like some really sweet, really tender stuff on there as well. I don't know, it's really didn't expect to like it as much as I did. So there you go. That's my tip for the year.
That's going to go to the top of the list then, because I do like Dawnwalker. I think they were a cool band, because I guess they broke up, right? Like they're done. Or am I wrong with that?
Yeah. I mean, I've only heard stuff secondhand, but I think they basically just went full pelt for like 5 years. They were just constantly on tour. I think they just fucking burnt out, dude.
Yeah, man. Because I think like the UK black metal thing is a little underrated. I do think like the good bands, they do get celebrated, but I love like Winterfella. Like that's sick. And I guess they're not black metal, but Mithras.
I don't know them.
Yeah, he's got another band called Sarpantium, and it's like, but if you look at all the lyrics, it's all about like ancient battles from like the year 800 and stuff. But it's like very like mythic, very folksy, epic black metal that I think gets a little overshadowed by the Scandinavian stuff, but I have a soft spot for all that.
Do you know the Ashenspire album?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I've got to know those guys a little bit, and Scott from that band has like mixed our last record and the new one, which is coming out.
Are we allowed to talk about the newest Dawnwalker in Waiting, or are you waiting?
No, we can.
So is it fair to say that it's a return to more heaviness?
Yeah, although it's weird for me because it's older than the last one.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
It's been gestating longer, so it doesn't feel like a return to me. It's like there's some quite old ideas in there, so it might, I'm sure people are going to say it's a return or it's a course correction or something. But no, to me, it's actually a lot of kind of older ideas, and I was trying to like encapsulate the whole thing in a strange way, do things that we've done in the past that I don't typically do anymore. But yeah, I don't know, I think everyone has that idea, don't they? People want either a song that is a whole album or an album that's just interconnected pieces. Like especially every prog band wants to do that.
Yeah, I love bands like what Dawnwalker is, and it's similar to Kayo Dot, where it's you're not quite sure what you're gonna get, but there's this feeling that regardless of what's coming, it's not like the style that is off the table anymore. Like that can be revisited. It's not set in stone. Hey, we're this kind of band now, because I think that's the trajectory for a lot of bands, is we're gonna start really heavy and really fast, and then like what the everlasting scandal of Cave In. I don't know if you ever liked that band, Cave In.
Do you hate them?
I love Cave In, but they're kind of the band that immediately comes to mind for people complaining about
Right.
Going soft, so to speak.
Yeah.
Or going like radio friendly, even though they have maintained awesome throughout. But I don't think it's like Cave-In where they've had this gradual thing. Stuff like Dawnwalker, and again I said Kayo Dot, like it's not strange to kind of go into this mood and then go back to this mood. It's not like there's a linear progress to it. It's kind of whatever it needs to be. So that's the sense I get.
Yeah, it's a strange one for me because I certainly don't think about trying to be like genre hopping or whatever, but people say that all. I remember the guy that masters our stuff, Brad Boatwright, you know him?
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that was Brad Boatwright. That rocks. Yeah, good for that's sick.
He's done like most of our stuff, but the first time I ever sent him an album to master, he was like, there's so many different genres on here, dude. I don't know how to to master it like this type of record or that type. I'm like, really? Is that different? Like, I don't know. You'd get, especially in like the mid noughties sort of post-hardcore, you'd get bands that were doing like this sort of wannabe Mr. Bungle thing, and there'd be like the metal bit and then the prog bit and then the keyboard bit, and it's like I was never really like into those bands, like the sort of genre hopping thing. So I bristle a bit when people say that about our stuff.
When I first heard like Model in the Well, I was like, oh, they're not doing this very whiplashy thing, schizophrenic, like flipping very quickly. It's all melded together. It's all like of a piece.
Yeah.
So that you can have something very calming and ambient and then have death metal vocals on top of it, but it doesn't feel like they're doing a sudden shift.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it just, especially this one, the reason it took so long is because I was trying to write it from front to back rather than like write different pieces and like stick them together later on with super glue and try and make them work together.
I know you just said you don't want to super glue parts together, but is there a bit of non-linearity to how you're coming up with the shape of the thing?
No, and I think even if I tried to do that, it wouldn't have worked, and I think that's why it took so long and why it's like an older piece that's only sort of coming to fruition now, because I kept just like going back to the start and starting again.
Right.
Like I'd sort of get so far into it and then I'm like, this has gone down a road that I don't want to go down. And so like I'd just scrap the entire thing and go back to the beginning. I always had the starting point. I always liked the start.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call myself a composer.
It's hard when you're in a band to kind of, I'm like, I'm writing riffs. I'm not writing symphonies here.
It's a song. I write songs really. I don't really like write riff-based music. So it's like, it is a song. It's just 32 minutes long.
You know what? I do really like this album. It's a new album from Blood Incantation.
Oh yeah, I know.
I don't know if you've heard it.
Mm-hmm.
They have a long 20-minute song, and it does something somewhat similar, but I actually think it's a bit more awkward in my opinion, when it kind of shifts moods and it feels a little bit more, like you said, that glued together kind of thing. I get a bit more of that, whereas this felt much more smooth.
I did check out that record. It was kind of like you have like the death metal bits and then the Pink Floyd bits.
Exactly, yeah. That's what it's like, yeah.
It's cool. There was a couple of bits on there. I was like, wow, that is actual Pink Floyd plagiarism. But
yeah. The guitar tone, yeah. Cool band, for sure. For sure, cool band. And then, like, that record made me like more of a fan of that band, funnily enough, because before I was like, I don't get it. Like, what's the buzz for this? Like, but now I'm like, they're actually quite cool.
They're in a weird spot where they're like, people like them, but they've also blown up, and now they're huge, and people are a bit embarrassed to like them. I think because they've got so huge so quick.
They're the death heaven of death metal now, in my opinion. They've been picked. They've been picked by the mainstream press, or the sort of indie / mainstream press, to be like, you're the good death metal band.
So, well, I'll let you go in a minute. But so what's next? What's the next project? You got anything else in mind? Anything you started working on?
Yeah, I am writing new. I keep calling it Crux, but Beannachd Liebh. It sounds so funny to say out loud, but basically for that project, I'm writing new songs, and it's been, the reception to the record's been so awesome. So I'm like feeling really confident. I'm going forward very confidently now, whereas before I was kind of like not quite sure where I wanted to go with it. And I'd hate to say that like I only do things for what other people would like or want, but it's been very interesting to get a more concrete response to stuff. So people are not into the like shorter, more kind of weird songs. They like the more melodic, longer,
right,
kind of stuff like that. So
like the title track,
like the title track and the first track, like that seems like, and you can see it. It's cool. Like Bandcamp, you can see what people are replaying and stuff. And they could. My favorite song on the record is it's called Neurotypical Atrocities, and people hate that. Like gets skips constantly. Like, and I just think that's really interesting. So it's kind of influenced me a little bit to be like, I think why don't I try and lead with more of the stuff that there's a response to? Because I'm really proud of those songs in particular. So maybe I'm gonna lean more into that.
That's sick, man.
Maybe not. And yeah, and then Mirror Neuron, Logan. Likewise, Logan's been really like we're definitely like it's a very equal relationship in that. I'm not at all suggesting otherwise, but that's that's Logan's vision, right? Mirror Neuron is Logan's vision, and I feel like a really strong part of that band, but it's for him to lead there, and so he's like super jacked on the response to that album, and he's writing awesome riffs, and he's really kind of leveled up like his playing, in my opinion. Like he's like a much better guitar player than me, I think, and he's like very chopsy on the new riffs and stuff like that. So
sick.
Yeah, it's probably going to be years, but at least it's in the works.
Yeah, man. People really seem to respond to the first one, so you can only build from there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you learn lessons too, so it's kind of less trial and error now, or maybe new trial and error, but at least you got that foundation. So
yeah, you gotta mix it up, dude. Like you lean into the stuff that people skip,
or figure out what is it that's or yeah, just maybe be like, you just take my neurotypical atrocities. You will like it. But yeah, for you, I know you have a new release coming out, but is there stuff also forming past that, or are you waiting to see?
Yeah, no, I do have other stuff. Obviously I need to get my head into promo mode and put this album out. But yeah, I've got something really different that I want to do. I'm still figuring out what it is at the minute. It might be a new project or something. It's definitely going to be different. Like we were talking about at the beginning, I'm flirting with the idea of self-producing it and leaving it lo-fi, and it's going to be probably more pop orientated or more song orientated, less like I'm old now, man. I want to make some eccentric pop music and sit in my comfy chair. So, but all that stuff is really nascent. But it's nice because that's the exciting bit for me when you're starting new things and you're just trying stuff, and sort of the weirder the better at this stage. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Might come to nothing. I talk a big game sometimes, but I do have some ideas of things I want to try.
Totally, man. It's funny, and I'm doing a little bit of a spoiler, and this might actually diminish any kind of anticipation if there is, but I'm going much more for like a trance influence, and I want to very sincerely and not as a joke kind of incorporate more like rave elements into the black metal parts. And it sounds very, I kind of roll my eyes thinking about what I just said, but I'm kind of experimenting with it now, and because I see a weird crossover with rave music and some of the effects of the really like atmospheric black metal stuff, like this feeling of being like a wave crashing over you that you kind of completely surrender to is very like present, especially if you see like live black metal bands. Like, so I see enough of a sort of overlap there where that's kind of the main entryway into this new record, I think.
Weirdly, now that you said that, triggered some memory that Burzum was apparently
Yeah.
super into his dance music, and he was out at raves and stuff like that. And the reason his songs were so long and repetitive is because he was trying to recreate that sort of like euphoria of being at a rave and being stuck in a groove, you know,
in that pulse. Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, I hate to say it, but yes, that's kind of where I'm coming from. On
fucking Burzum.
Keep me away from a knife, Mark, because I don't want to do something.
You don't strike me as having any Nazi tendencies, so you'll probably be all right.
Hopefully not.
Well, it was lovely catching up with you.
Yeah, dude, it was great to do this, and I know we chat a lot, but awesome to have more of a longer form face-to-face. So yeah, thanks a lot for setting it up, and I'm really stoked.
You know, our musical output is very different. We've obviously got very similar influences, and sort of the sphere of stuff that we listen to is a lot of crossover.
I know, yeah, I feel like we're very, like, our taste is very, very, very overlapped. But I like where the output from that is, I like where we arrive, the different places we arrive from that is very cool to me.
Definitely.
Yeah, man, congrats again on that new record. For anyone, if anyone is actually watching this, you're in for some crazy shit. It's going to be very good. You're going to be very into this new Dawnwalker record, so enjoy it, anticipate it.
Can't ask for a better testimonial than that.
Yeah.
All right, lovely speaking to you, man.
Yeah, you too, buddy, you too. And yeah, we'll talk soon.
Take it easy.
Yeah, you too, man.